Hey there, CPO here, and today I'm going to start the beginning of a video series on my Revolectrix Cellpro PowerLab 8 and my accompanying Revolectrix Power Station. I'm to the point now I'm in the hobby where I'm getting bigger batteries and more of them, and I'm no longer able to comfortably wait to watch batteries charge. So I'm looking to amp up the horsepower a little bit on my charging capabilities. And this is what I went with. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best you can get when it comes to battery charging abilities. So, because I'm new to this level of charging setups, I have a lot to learn with regard to this type of system, how to get everything connected, what I need to buy, all of that stuff. So I'm just going to go through this with you as I learn it. So this is the first video, sort of an overview, how to get things up and running. And then in future videos, I'll talk a little bit more about the specific setup, and as well as probably the most valuable feature is the ability to connect this charger to the control center on the computer and access all of the charging capabilities and functions and build presets from your computer, as well as look at graphing and trending of your batteries. So I'm hoping to go through all of that. But for now, I just want to talk a little bit about the kit itself, what it comes with, what it doesn't come with, and what you need to do to get up and running. So the PowerLab 8 itself is a pretty phenomenal little charger. It will handle 8S charging. It has outputs for the mains and then one output for the balance port. And importantly here is you have a connector to go to the PC right here. Kind of looks like a servo connector. And this is how it comes. I've got one with the EC5 plug, and that's pretty much it. Then what we get into is the accessories that really make this thing go to work. And so if you're like me, you'll probably buy this in some sort of a combo kit. I got a combo kit that had a few things I need, including the MPA, which I'll talk about, and I have the connector for the computer, as well as alligator clips. But so your power in is here through this EC5, like I said on mine, and from this you will connect to whatever you want. So if I wanted to charge off of a deep cycle battery, I would just add on these clips, and now my power source can be a battery. There are ways in the menu, and I'll go through this later, of how to adjust whether or not you're battery power or DC power. But that's pretty cool. So that was a good accessory to have. Additionally, you can get things like banana plugs to plug into a power supply. In fact, this power station has 4mm banana plug inserts. However, I'm not going to recommend doing this, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But it is a viable option, particularly if you have a power supply that has 4mm bullet inputs. You can get something like this, which will work. I didn't actually get this from FMA Direct with my kit. I just happened to have one of these that I built. So I'm not going to use it, but it is an option for getting things connected. Let's talk a little bit about the connection to the computer. You've got this little gadget here, which, like I said, plugs in. Looks like it's got a servo connector onto it. This will plug in just like that, and you can see it tells you which side is ground. And basically, I'm going to then connect this to the computer, but we're going to get to that part much later, not even in this video. But that's cool. Now, the MPA. This is the multi-port safe parallel adapter. And I've shown this before in a Hangout video, one of the Heli Hangouts, but this thing is just phenomenal. So besides the fact that it is so much more than a parallel board. I've got a parallel board, several of them, and they basically, all they do is offer an opportunity to connect multiple things into one thing. As a matter of fact, I've got a 6-port board right here. This is of the generic variety. But it allows me to get 6 batteries plugged in to one charger. And that's great and it does its job well. It has the balance capability as well as the the mains, but that doesn't come close to touching the capabilities of this MPA. So besides giving you the ability to collect mains and balance ports, 6 of them or more, these could be daisy chained together. You're limited by your maximum amp capability of your charger, but you can daisy chain these up. But what makes this so awesome is the fact that when they say safe, they really mean safe. Every single one of these balance plugs, every single one of these main connectors, which I'll talk about these here in a second, they happen to be Dean's plugs, which I despise, but that's beside the point. Everything is independently fused, which means there's really no way that you can damage your battery or the charger by plugging in something wrong or backwards, or if you have a battery fail and two cells get jumped together for some reason internally. Whatever it is, this is going to protect you. And actually, you see these strips here. Each one of these strips for each one of the balance blocks, I guess I'll call them, will turn red if there's a problem with the balance ports. And then plus you have these 40 amp fuses that will blow. Now, the catch with the fuses are they're soldered in. So if you do blow a fuse, to change them, you have to desolder them. So this little top board comes off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. This whole thing will come off, and then you can change out these fuses. I do know of people who have made quick change sort of fuse adapters. I don't know that it's necessary. I don't see the fuses going very often. But if you do something silly, this is designed to protect you. So back to the mains. As you can see, and I mentioned before, these are Dean's connectors. I like the concept of Dean's. I hate soldering them. I think that that is a extreme and severe punishment for people who do wrong things. They should have to solder Dean's plugs. So what you end up doing is making or buying adapters, because most people probably aren't using Dean's these days. I'm sure there's still a lot of them out there, but I'm not using Dean's. So what I'm doing is building up little connectors for the female Dean's to plug into here to whatever plug that I'm running for the battery. So I built up a couple just to test things out, and then I cheated and went and bought a whole bunch of connectors. So you've got the ability to have 6 plugged into here at one time. So I've got 6 Dean's to 4mm bullets, and I've got 6 Dean's to XT60s, and I'll probably make up some Dean's to EC5s. That's pretty much what I'm using. This will basically plug in to your charger using these safety banana plugs, which are kind of cool. They're also pass-through plugs, so you're not limited just by plugging in the MPA. You can actually still plug in other items using 4mm bullets to that, or you can stack these. There's a lot of options here, but the reality of it is you've got these pass-through plugs. And then your balance port adapter is going to plug in right here. And then now this becomes your main charging interface. Really cool. I really like it. I think it's going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to really starting to kick this thing into high gear. So again, if you buy combo kit, I recommend getting a combo kit with the PowerLab, 6 or an 8. 6 will handle 6 cells. Most people probably will never need more than that. I went ahead and got a PL8, future-proofing myself. We'll see. You can also connect these together. You can see here they've got these little clips, and I don't have 2 of them to show you, but they would actually clip in side by side. So they make a dual PowerLab, but you can also buy single PowerLabs and then connect them, attach them to one another. So now we have to get to the power station. It's so much more than a power supply. It really is a power station. I've got 24 volt, 55 amp output. That's what, 1,340 watts of power max for the whole system. It can all come out through here. I've also got 2 12 volt 10 amp outputs. So if you want to run something smaller that can't handle perhaps 24 volts, which this can, by the way. So I'll be using 24 volts to get as much power as I can. You can plug them in through here. And then also you've got a little USB plug that provides 5 volts at 2 amps. So if you want to charge your cell phone up, or some little batteries come with USB, plugs. I've got some Helimax stuff that charges using USB. You could do it right through there, which would be kind of handy. Now, on this power station, it does have these handles. They are plastic, and somebody's already kindly informed me don't hold these things around with a single handle because they will break off. They are plastic handles, not necessarily designed for carrying though. So keep that in mind. These basically have two 12-volt power supplies that are run in series to give it 24 volts. And the cool thing, the interesting thing is, these are actually Dell power supplies. Not sure if that's widely known. I didn't realize that till I got them. But the power supplies in these are basically made by Dell. I don't know if they're custom built for Revolectrix, or if these are, server power supplies that are being used, or what. Who knows? I don't really care. In the fact that it does have Dell power supplies, which are very highly regarded, known to be extremely reliable, I'm down for that. So the power plug for this, as you can imagine, comes with these computer sort of plugs. This happens to be a 2-in-1, which is nice. So I don't have to plug in 2 separate cables. I can just plug this little Y harness in and then plug this into my wall outlet. Now, there is no on-off button on this power station, which means you plug this thing in, it's going to be turned on. So a recommendation may be to plug it into a surge protector of some sort where you have a switch, you can turn it on and off. That's up to you. Now, we've got to get the PowerLab connected to the power station. And that comes in several different forms. Like I said, you can use bullets to plug in to here, these posts, right? But the reality of it is, you've got these poles, and the easiest way to do this is use them for how they're designed. So let me show you that. So this is another accessory, and basically what it is, it's a pigtail that allows you to connect to your power supply using this end, and then splits into 2 outputs. The reason it splits into 2 outputs is if you're using a dual PowerLab 8, or maybe you've got 2 PowerLab 8s. Now I only have one, but I'm future-proofing here, so there's a chance I may end up with another one in the future. I'll just use this pigtail to power a second one whenever I get to that point. But for now, just know that you've got an output that will provide 24 volts, total of 55 amps to both, through this little pigtail. Now, how you connect this to your power station is quite simple. You just strip off about 1 inch of the wire, bare wire, not soldered, not tinned, nothing like that, and plug them in to these poles. There's little holes on the top. Slip it down in there. And tighten them down. And that's it. This really is the most effective way to get power to your charger. You don't have to worry about the power capacity handling of your connector, whatever connector you use. I know some people like to use ring connectors or whatever, or bullets or whatever you're using. You do not have to worry what it's rated at. Straight wire, just like that. And this will give me the best opportunity for taking advantage of that full 55 amps. So this, and then again, like I said, would plug into there, and that's going to power my whole setup. So that's about it. I just kind of wanted to do a quick overview for you, give you a look at the setup that I have, how things are going to be connected together. But this is going to be my workhorse right here. I mean, basically, once I plug this thing in, we'll be off and running. So the MPA, a couple other features I probably didn't mention. Not only can it take, the usual balance adapter plugs, it can handle some little 1S packs. It can handle receiver packs. It can handle transmitter packs, all kinds of stuff. And like I said, you can daisy chain these and plug them in. 40 amp max current on this guy. Keep that in mind too. I can push 55 amps out of this. This is rated at 40 amps. So it's only going to pull what it needs. This can take the whole 40 amps. I've got a little extra spare here that I can use for something else on the side if I want. I think that's it. So this is CPO, and I will be back with future videos on getting this thing set up for use. Again, this is all new to me, so I'm just going to go through it and show you what I'm learning. If you have any tips for me, feel free to share. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.